evening from Los Angeles, where if the great Frank Capra had directed it, last night's Senate all-nighter would have been a lot more entertaining. Where had Francis Ford Coppola been at the helm, going to the mattresses would have involved far more than a few folding cots. Instead, tonight, in our fifth story on the countdown, we are left with yet another Republican filibuster that has blocked an up or down vote on a plan to bring U.S. troops home from Iraq. President Bush and Senate Republicans still employing a solid zone defense in their effort to run out the clock on the administration's second term before the White House is forced to even consider a troop withdrawal plan. The early morning hours of the Senate's first all-nighter in 4 years, giving way to a late morning vote in which Republicans put the kibosh on the Levin Reed amendment, which would have withdrawn American combat troops by the end of April 2008. The Democrats getting only 52 of the 60 votes they needed to survive the filibuster. When Republicans controlled the last session of Congress, the GOP threatened to use the so-called nuclear option to do away with filibusters forever. So incensed were they over the Democrats' use of the procedure to prevent the confirmation of conservative federal judicial nominees. Now that the shoe is on the other foot, the filibuster is the Republicans' new best friend. The Democrats are accusing the Republicans of a short memory and also of hypocrisy.
My friend, Senator McConnell, says everybody knows there's 60 votes on controversial issues around here. Well, last November, Iraq wasn't very controversial because we had simple up and down votes. It's obvious to the American people that the war in Iraq has gone the wrong way. And all of a sudden now, 7 months later after the last defense authorization bill, they're saying you need 60 votes. That's a new math that was developed by the Republicans to protect the president. That's what it's all about.
In the wake of the filibuster, Majority Leader Reid pulling the entire defense authorization bill from consideration on the Senate floor, and for that, the Republicans, never mind their own efforts to keep the bill from passing, managed to accuse Democrats of not supporting the troops or giving them the care they need.
My friends, just a short time ago, we were outraged at the conditions at Walter Reed Hospital, and we vowed that we'd fix it, that we'd take care of these men and women who have been wounded. That's part of this bill. Now what happens? Now what happens? And I can't tell you how much I regret it, and I am much more sad than I am angry.
Time now to call in our own Jonathan Alter, senior editor at Newsweek magazine. John, good evening.
Hi, Keith.
Let me see if I got this straight. Republicans see to it that nothing gets done in the Senate about Iraq, undermine legislation that was intended to support the troops, guarantee that it's a do-nothing Congress, at least for the moment, and the Democrats are responsible for all that.
Yeah, well, but I don't think, as they say, that dog won't hunt for the Republicans. You know, if we were in a different climate right now, then this idea that the Democrats don't support the troops, that they're using legislative games to prevent us from doing what needs to get done in Iraq, that might work coming out of John McCain's mouth. But that period has passed, Keith, and the onus is now on the Republicans to start to wind down this war. And what's interesting to me about this filibuster fight is that you had 3 or 4 Republicans, people like John Warner and Richard Lugar, who clearly have changed their view on the war, but they didn't have the courage of their convictions last night, and they couldn't go along in great enough numbers to break the filibuster.